George Jones. George Jones. Joe Jones. I was asked recently if George Jones were to write a country and western song about my relationships with women in the past, what would that song be? Now, you'd have to know me. I have been dumped by more women than any man I know. And it's usually over just stupid things, mostly back in my late teens and 20s. Let me give you an example. I went to pick up my date one night, met her at the door, good-looking woman, and the thing that caught my attention first is she had a beehive hairdo. Now, a beehive hairdo looks like a beehive, and these women pile all their hair up on the top, and I can tell some of you in here aren't old enough to have ever seen one, but if you've seen Saturday Night Live and you've seen the Coneheads, same effect, same effect. So we go out and we get in my car, and I notice when I look over to her sitting in the passenger seat that she's looking at me like this. And I'm thinking, that's strange. And then it dawned on me, if she sat up, her head would collide with the ceiling of my car. Now, it was a good thing I had a convertible. I had a 1963 Rambler American convertible. It looked like a shoebox with a blanket thrown over it. So I got out and put the top down. And we take off when we're cruising down University Avenue. Everything's going cool. Man, we're talking and listening to the Temptations. My girl. And all of a sudden, whoosh, a bat swept down and did a kamikaze on her beehive hairdo. Right in the center of it. It's sitting in there and the wings are flapping around like this. And she looked at me with big eyes and this look of horror. And so I pull over the side of the road and we extracted the bat from her beehive hairdo. Now, frankly, I thought it was rather funny. She didn't. So that was the end of that relationship. But I did learn a lesson from it I'd like to share it with you. And that's, guys, if you've got a date with a girl and a bird flies into her hair, don't laugh. Another girl, Becky Whipple. Becky Whipple, we had been out 3 or 4 times, and I called Becky to ask her out on a date for Saturday night. And she said, I'm sorry, I've already got plans. And it just started eating at me. I thought, she's seeing somebody else. And I was, young and stupid at the time, and I decided to do something really stupid. I decided to spy on her. And so Saturday afternoon, I drove over, and Becky lived on the corner, and on the other catty corner to her home was a service station. And I found the only place I could hide was they had a stack of brand new Michelin tires right beside the side of the service station. Now, I weighed 80 pounds less then than I do now. And I managed to slide down inside that stack of Michelin tires. And I could barely see through a crack, and I could see her front porch. And sure enough, around 6 o'clock, a car drives up. And she gets in and goes on a date with this guy. Oh, I was furious. And I'm trying to get out because I've seen what I wanted to see, and I'm squirming, and the problem is, I can't get out. I'm stuck in these tires. And then, no more than a minute later, this dog comes around the corner, a huge dog. I mean, this thing would make Cujo look like a chihuahua. It comes around the corner, and I guess it thought I'd be a good meal, and it jumps up on the side of the tires and knocks the tires over with me inside of them. I'm rolling down in front of the service station onto the street inside these tires, and the street is on a hill, and I'm rolling down this hill inside these tires, and I can't do anything, and I rolled about a half a block and crashed over a curb into a chain link fence. The good news is somebody came to help. The bad news, it was the police. And they thought I had stolen those tires from the service station. And they were going to arrest me unless I went up the street. I had to tell him what happened. I had to go up the street, knock on Mr. Whipple's door, and tell him what I was doing to verify to the officer who I was. Can you imagine how embarrassing that was, having to tell him I was spying on his daughter? One of the most embarrassing moments of my life. So that relationship didn't work out either. So George Jones wants to know if he can create a song for me. Yeah, and one of the titles might be, if I'm not number one in your life, then number two on you. Another one might be, if the phone don't ring, it's probably me. And the third title he might choose from, and this is a real chart buster, she got the ring, and I got the finger.